Welcome back to the Legal Brief, the show where we crush the various legal myths and misinformation surrounding various areas of the gun world. I'm your host, Adam Kraut, and today I'm answering a question a lot of you want to know. What happens to the 4473 after you fill it out and leave the store?
Silencers & Co. is offering the first ever suppressed muzzleloader since the inception of the NFA. The Maxim 50 is a 50 caliber muzzleloader with a permanently attached sound moderator, able to be purchased without going to a gun store and filling out a 4473. You can even get this thing shipped straight to your door in freedom-loving states. To find out more, check out the link in the video description or head over to silencerco.com.
If you haven't heard the news, I'm back on the ballot for the NRA Board of Directors in 2018. Thanks to you guys, we're going for it again. I'll have some more exciting news and announcements in the coming weeks that you'll want to hear about, so be sure to get subscribed to my email list so you don't miss a beat. The link is in the description. The Firearms Transaction Record, or 4473, is a form that most of you are likely well versed in. For those of you that aren't, it is the form that you're required to complete when purchasing a firearm from a licensed dealer. The front of the form is completed by the purchaser and signed at the top on the following page. The remainder of the form is completed by the licensee or their employee and has spots for the identification the purchaser used, NICS transaction information, and the firearm information itself. After NICS comes back with a proceed, the purchaser can then leave with the firearm. For someone who's denied, they obviously don't leave with the firearm, and the same goes for an individual who was delayed. So what happens to the form after everything is completed? Well, the regulation states that a licensee shall keep each 4473 for no less than 20 years after the disposition of the firearm, which means that dealers, depending upon their volume, may have a very tiny area dedicated to storing the forms to a warehouse-sized area. These records are available to ATF during routine compliance inspections or in the case of a firearms trace or criminal matter. When a licensee discontinues their business, they are required to send the records to the ATF Out of Business Record Center within 30 days of discontinuing the business. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking at this point, but Adam, they're making a registry. Well, as you may remember, federal law prohibits a registry from being created with the exception of NFA firearms. Once the records arrive at ATF's Out of Business Record Center, they're actually stuck in shipping containers. In 2016, the center was receiving a staggering 2 million records each month, hence the shipping containers. The amount of records received versus those being processed makes the NFA branch look like rock stars. The completed forms used to be imaged onto microfilm for storage purposes, but are now done in a PDF format. The caveat is that they cannot be made to be searchable, otherwise it would be a violation of federal law. There's currently 4 ways 4473s are stored in the Out of Business Records Center. They're either on that microfilm or PDF like I just mentioned, or in the paper form as it arrived if it has not yet been processed, or on hard drives sent in by dealers which contain the E4473 that has not yet been processed to one of the acceptable formats. ATF is currently in the process of converting the microfilm to PDFs. All of these records are stored in the Out of Business Record Center in West Virginia. So what's the purpose of keeping all these records? If a firearm turns up in a crime, law enforcement can implement a trace request. This process starts with law enforcement relaying make, model, serial number, and other information about the gun to ATF's tracing center. From there, ATF will contact the manufacturer or importer for them to search their records to see which distributor or dealer it was sent to. After they receive that information, they then call the distributor or dealer to find out where it went next. If that dealer is still in business, they'll be able to look in their A&D book or 4473s to find out who the firearm was disposed to. If they're not, that request then goes to the Out of Business Record Center, where a small team of individuals manually sort through microfilm, PDFs, and the physical forms to find that answer. The information is then relayed to law enforcement for further investigation. Hopefully that gives you a better idea of what happens with the 4473 after you've completed it. It continues to live in one of 2 places, either the dealer where you bought that firearm for at least 20 years, or ATF's Out of Business Record Center. Remember, federal law prohibits a registry of non-NFA firearms, so ATF cannot legally digitize the records in a manner that would make them searchable or link firearms to one particular individual. Scout's honor. Who's going to watch the watchman? Am I right? Are you tired of the wrong information finding its way into your local gun shop? Make sure you share this video with your friends. Don't forget to hit that like button, and if you aren't subscribed already, you better make that happen. Hang out on Facebook? Be sure to join us on the TGC Nation group. Check out my website, adamkraut.com, and as always, thanks for watching.
The shirts worn in today's video on the Gun Collective have been provided by Patriot Patch. Closed captions have also been brought to you by Patriot Patch Company. Be sure to click the link in the video description to check out all of their great products, including their cleaning mats.